Hey guys, today we're going to cover something that I learned that you need to maintain, not only to stay warm, but also safe. If not, well, you're going to be saying down the road. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my latest edition of I Wish I Had Known That. And for a lot of you locals, you might know where I'm at. Behind me, we see Snoqualmie Pass. For a lot of you that are not from Seattle, what's about I don't know, 45 minutes, 50 minutes east of downtown Seattle. And it is a perfect spot to cover today's episode of I Wish I Had Known That, because we're going to cover the topic of chimneys and fireplaces. If you don't get those things checked, they could be very dangerous. And one thing that I did learn is that a lot of inspectors, home inspectors, when you get a house inspected, they don't check your chimneys or your fireplaces. But from what I learned from my friend Randy is that, well, if you don't maintain them and get them checked, well, it's not only going to be harmful for yourself, but also some of our furry and feathery friends.
The main thing to keeping a good chimney is a chimney cap, because that's where the leaks start. That's where you keep the rain and the moisture out, and it keeps the sparks contained. We got a stainless steel cap that has a spark arrestor and animal guard, and then it keeps the wind out. And then it also prevents your damper from rusting out inside. And that's very important. You gotta be able to have a damper to close it off, or all your heat is just gonna go right up the flue.
And don't think that there's only a fire within the fireplace. If you don't take care of those chimneys, well, you could create a fire, believe it or not, a little bit higher above.
Yeah, you can get creosote buildup, which can cause chimney fires. You get a bunch of soot built up, or even cobwebs. Spiders can still get down there, but they're not tend to go down there if you have a cap on. And the spider webs can cause the smoke to go back in the house too.
Guys, as much as it is important to maintain the inside of the chimney and the fireplace itself, don't forget the outside.
This is the crown. This is where the cracks start, and you get moisture down inside, and that can get moisture inside the brick and the mortar and deteriorate it from the inside out. The crown's kind of what holds everything together. If that's cracked and weak, then the bricks get loose, and then it kind of snowballs from there. Check your flashing. The flashing, if that's not good or rusted, you'll get leaks in your attic and into your ceiling as well.
Everyone, this is Adi, and we get those chimneys and fireplaces checked for the safety of our little loved ones, but also for our furry and feathery friends.
Oh, one time I heard a noise in the chimney, and I went to open the damper, and a big crow flew out and was flying around the lady's house. And we were trying to catch it downstairs, and then it flew upstairs, was knocking everything over. It was a mess, but that was because she didn't have a cap on top. So you want to keep the birds. We had to get a dead raccoon out one time that it died on the smoke shelf in there, and the lady had big flies in her house and a smell, so we had to dig that out as well.
And there you go, guys. I hope you learned something. I certainly did, because when I moved out here years ago from South Florida, had no idea about chimneys and fireplaces. You know, in South Florida, we don't have chimneys, and what we know about chimneys is Santa Claus and roasting marshmallows, right? That's all we knew. But so I hope this episode of I Wish I Had Known That kind of taught you something. And you know what? Also, Randy, before I forget, he told me, remind your viewers that when they buy a home, don't assume that the previous owner had that chimney and that fireplace checked, because again, a lot of people don't know that, especially now that you know that not even inspectors will check that for the most part. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate if you would, and put a little notification, a little thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this latest edition of I Wish I Had Known That. Take care.